Lonely Among Us is probably the birth of the classic TNG mystery episode, which became a staple of the show and an absolute fan favorite staple. But, the birth of it, Lonely Among Us, is really a kind of fucking terrible episode because of the writing. And doing this video, I'm just assuming that it's only watched by people who have already seen the episode. Like, who would watch old who would watch reviews of old TNG episodes except people who have seen them and are curious about other people's opinions about them. So I'm just going to talk about it as if you, the watcher, the viewer, have seen it. And the main issue with the writing is, Dr. Crusher randomly comes to consciousness on the bridge and doesn't know what happened to her. And she doesn't feel like reporting it to anybody or thinking about it. And then, a day later, to her surprise, she finds out she was possessed by some alien being. Like, she didn't even bother fucking thinking about why hours of her memory are gone and she just randomly woke up on the bridge? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And it applies to all the characters that are possessed by the alien in this episode. They just randomly wake up hours later in random places and they're like, okay, I guess that happened. Yeah, I guess we're like in outer space and stuff like that happens all the time in outer space. I don't know, I don't care. I'm not going to report it to anybody or think about it or try to investigate what happened to me in that missing time. I don't care. Who cares? Like, I didn't look up who wrote this episode, but I don't know what went through that person's head. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, imagine anybody, any of you out there, any of you out there who are not raging alcoholics at least, you randomly wake up in some completely random place. You're like, how the fuck did I get here? And then you're like, whatever, I'm just going home. Who cares? That happened. Whatever. Yeah, that, that, when you talk about suspension of disbelief, yeah, I'm sorry, my disbelief is not suspended. Anybody just randomly waking up in some random place, not knowing how they got there, and not knowing what happened the last 8 hours or so, and then just going, whatever, I don't care. That's not going to happen in the real world. So this episode doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's especially notable, with, as I mentioned earlier, the case of Dr. Crusher. She just randomly wakes up on the bridge. She's like, Dr. Crusher, everything alright? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then she goes home, doesn't think about it anymore. The last 8 hours of her life are missing, and she just randomly woke up on the bridge. Whatever. I don't care. It's not like I'm chief medical officer on the flagship of the Federation. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah. So, I appreciate this episode for being the birth of the TNG mystery episodes, which I, as a TNG fan, always loved, but the writing is so god-awful, stupid, really fucking stupid. Okay, I really gotta go on Memory Alpha and look up the name of the writer or writers. Let's the magnifying glass icon. Lonely Among Us. Who is DC Fontana? Oh God! Oh, embarrassing! That hurts my soul as a Star Trek fan. I mean, teleplay by DC Fontana, story by Michael Halperin. Did he write anything else? No, just this episode. But still, DC Fontana wrote the teleplay. How embarrassing! She should not. DC Fontana should not have that credit to her name. Like, credit in quotation marks. How embarrassing. Where is my camera app? Microphone is in the way. There it is. I had my microphone in front of my screen. Yeah, I shouldn't have looked that up. That kind of puts a stain on DC Fontana's reputation. That Dr. Crusher randomly wakes up on the bridge and she's like, I'm fine. I don't remember the last 8 hours or how I got here, but that happens. Happens to me all the time. Yeah. That's not good for the suspension of disbelief, definitely. That's terrible. Oh yeah. TNG Season 1. Another highlight. As I said twice before, I appreciate the beginning of the tradition of the TNG mystery episode, but I'm fine. I don't remember the last 8 hours. I don't remember how I got here. I don't care. It's just a flagship of the Federation. Who gives a fuck? Let's all get drunk and forget about where we are. Who gives a fuck? Yeah. That's if you take Star Trek seriously and think of it as a real world, like you suspend your disbelief and you think the Star Trek universe is a real thing. Think the flagship of the Federation. How should people behave on it? Not like this. They're not going to behave like this. Because, no. That's slightly, just a tiny bit unprofessional. To be like, don't remember where I was for the last 8 hours. Or how I got here. I don't care. Let's just move along. Nothing to see here. I don't care. So yeah, thanks to the terrible writing in which unfortunately DC Fontana was involved, this episode is just, yeah, it's terrible.